My name is Vinna Crichton and I'm currently looking for online jobs. I'm looking for projects. I have a variety of transferable skills. I am particularly experienced with ensuring compliance with the legislation and process and the procedures in regards to the business needs. I have an advanced certificate in business administration. My experience that I obtain mainly in the legal profession. I have about 17 and a half years working in different agencies and in jurisdiction. I'm also very good at ensuring, researching and delivering high quality information. So I look forward to working with you. Okay, so what I'm actually doing right now is just showing what I do in a day when I'm projects to be done throughout the week. And so what you're actually watching is my time blocking work schedule. So as you can see, I put in there the project description for the day. This one here is dated on the 20th of December to the 1st of January. So I'm just going through that schedule just so you can get a view what my days are like when I'm organised and working on my projects week to week.
Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. Good morning, my name is Minna Kreischen. Today's date is the 27th of August 2026. I just used that clip as an introduction and just to just to introduce my YouTube channel, Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. It's actually an exhibit in the courts, and so is my Facebook page. So today's video clip I have felt on my heart, because usually I just pray about what I'm doing because it's such a sensitive matter what I'm going through, and especially I know that there are a lot of people out there watching my court case being a real court case, this new age system, which is actually 100% a slave system. That is very clear. So it's a criminal case. Today's this video clip, I'm going to go over just a few things that's on my heart, and basically just the evidence that I will be using for my Court of Appeal. I'm dealing with my personal property, as you know by now. So basically I'm dealing with my the legal definition of my identity and my entity, and anything to do with me, my ideas, my intellectual property, my liberty, the life of a person, and anything that is tangible property in the first instance of the persons, and anything documentation. So my court cases is my personal property because it is about me. So I've been litigating my cases since 4th of July 2016, and so it's been going on in the courts for a very long time. So but I've been it's been interesting because I used to work for the government in the Department of Courts. I was the mindset that I have and the way that I've been dealing with my court cases has been more so in the formalities of a person working in the Department of Courts in the jury trials deposition, putting cases together. That is what I used to do, but I just didn't know that I would be doing this to my own case. But the evidence is very, very clear of corruption, basically, and the evidence shows that I have been used like a slave. So what I'm actually going through is modern day slavery, 100% on an individual. I like to use graphic designs to actually express my personal experience from a human being's point of view, from a female's point of view. So I can say that I've been used for illegal scientific experiments also. This explains the intimacy and the substitutes used by the opponent. They call themselves agents or foreigners around the world, have come in my space and secretly used me without me knowing. A lot of the things didn't come to a revelation to me until after the fact, when I was pushed out of my occupation working for the Ministry of Justice. But the best way to explain what has happened to me, it is home invasion, and it is definitely pet projects by different secret societies on human beings. So that's what I've been used for scientific experiment. It's so intimate and so personal, it's dangerous. And if you ignore it, they can easily eliminate everything about you, like delete your past, and you can, you lose everything, your identity and who you are as a person. You can easily be murdered if you're unaware of the tactics of those doing what they've done to me. It is 100% a criminal case. So today I'm going to be going over a bit more evidence in regards to my case, because I just feel it's so important. One is to save my own life. Two, to help others to what to look out for, because I know that what I'm doing is privileged information straight from the person who is experiencing the illegal scientific experiment, being blacklisted, singled out and used against my will, and just trying to go forward the normal way. But it is a left behind case, so you must remember that, due to the privacy breaches while I was working for my employer. So unfortunately, the reality is there is a pattern. Okay, so I have definitely been used for illegal relationship scams, and meaning other secret societies are interfering in my relationships. So at this point of time, Henry Cavill and I are in a relationship. We're very close to each other, and I've had to denounce his relationship with his ex. So I'm not doing it on my own. I have his consent, but we've been communicating for a long period of time. I can confirm that he is basically being used the same way I have, where he has actually lost his property, and so his opposition, I didn't even know anything about the PR relationship of Hollywoods and how they operate. So there's all this PR middleman thing going on. So that's what I've been going through personally, but I didn't know that until I realized the legislation has even changed to this kind of system, where it's in the middle, where other people are in the middle making decisions about you as an individual, or this is the reason or the cause of sabotaging, and the sabotaging in the middle, and not being able to get immediate help or go forward without any interference. So there's a lot of interference and perverting the course of justice in my case. So it's a criminal case. It's a felony criminal cases. My case is, so I've had to denounce his ex and all the other everyone, the public innuendo. I've had to do that for the sake of his situation and mine, and also to seek help from those that are watching over me, and to see how serious the situation is for both of us. His situation, if I was to scale it from 1 to 10, is 10. Okay, if he's fighting for his liberty, his situation, you can take my word for it, has not been easy. He lost his property. So basically what has happened is what has happened to me, where people have used the originals and then just basically dump them, and where they have no income, or their whole private life is contaminated. Then they have all these imposters, lookalikes, pretending to be him, and all their video clips are not original, and everything said about him and other women on internet is not true either. So this is my current situation. I believe he is part of my journey because God has used him in a massive way to enlighten me and to show me what I have been suffering secretly over the years, yet I didn't realize it, and to show me the international trafficking ring involving innocent civilians. And that's what I've been up to, all done by just the misuse of devices. So basically, I am in self-defense and defense of my personal property, which is my court cases. Okay, so everything about me is what I'm trying to defend, and I'm wanting to have these judgments written about me turned over. So if you watched the last video clip where Court of Appeal has dismissed my case, even though to this day the Crown has nothing on me legally to prosecute me. So basically what they've done historically, they've dug up my past and the contamination of the home invasion. They've already made connection with every single person that is close to me in my private life over the years, causing division and also this is where the personal attack in my private life has taken place, and it's been, words can't describe it, how horrific it has been for me personally, the disappointment, the betrayal, and also knowing that I've known in advance that those of my immediate family were all in danger too, like people walking in to a situation, they have no idea how serious it is, and all this time other secret societies are watching or conspiring secretly, making their lives also in danger because they're unaware that they too, what's happened to me can happen to them. It can backfire, or the wrong person can get blamed. And while the actual people who is actually criminally responsible for the home invasion or whatever it is they've been set up for, can easily just disappear, or they can delete the evidence. So I hope you get the picture where I'm coming from. Okay, so I didn't realize this until much later. So obviously people, the opponents, the people in my situation are those in government occupation. So it's body corporates, breaches, but what I didn't realize is that these people that I'm actually communicating with to do with my personal property or profile are body corporates, but what I didn't realize was that the opponents were doing signed petitions secretly without me knowing. So that's what's caused the defamation also. And it's also allowed the opponent to always have the upper hand of my situation, not where I can't go forward. I'm a single female has felt like against the whole world, but they have singled me out, so they've always had the upper hand. But it's done in a different way. These kind of petitions, because of the breaches, they've coded me in words. Everything's done in advance. So when you actually watch them talking on video, it looks normal, but they're actually coding and actually kind of seeking help from their followers. It is an illegal Commonwealth game. Other religions and other cultures have used me to promote them or pretended to be me, while I'm trying to fight for my life to get out of this nightmare that I've gone through historically, but it has been really hard to do. They have exiled me, and then so the situation I'm in is they kicked me out of my job. I didn't like a lot of things that didn't make sense in the beginning. but I just, all I can do is, go through in the moment. But a little did I know that I was actually being used like a slave, but I didn't know that. I couldn't understand why I couldn't get a job, but it was because they had whoever pushed me out. Well, as you can know, who pushed me out was an alliance, and the people responsible are the body corporates that I've put a statement of claim against, because I knew that everything they did to me was a criminal case and illegal. So there's a total of about 6 body corporates in my case. In the civil jurisdiction, I did try to get it transferred to the criminal jurisdiction while it was in the civil, but in the middle, the alliances that were against me were for, they were just looking out for each other, which is the opponents. They were using their hub desk jobs. They locked me out of the government system. So that's what the evidence actually shows. Definitely blacklisted, definitely locked out. And even the call centres, that I know that I've actually spoken to the opponent linking to my court cases. It's either their family, friends, or the people who've committed perjury or felony. They're in my spaces either telling me lies or giving me misguided information. And so it's been that kind of like a warfare. For them, it's to keep me oppressed or keep me from advancing in any way. So they have interfered in every area of my life. But the petitions are illegal, because any petition that people do against a person is illegal if it's causing them, like damaging their reputation, or it's causing an alliance that is a criminal pact and causing damage to the individual, whether it's damage to their reputation or being able to go forward, or an alliance that is threatening, making indirect threats. And so that is what I have suffered over the years, and so I'm opposing that. And I found going on social media is working, and it's also to allow those about this new age system. Okay, so I'm basically a slave. So the people that are opposing everything are people that have secretly used me like a slave to steal my intellectual property. People have treated me like a product to promote others, and also my court cases, I've been contesting that because it's illegal. The crown, and it's against the crown, so I've needed proper intervention, but it is definitely a slave system. Okay, I'll just try and keep an eye on the time because I don't want to drag this on too long. Okay, so my video clips, the designs that I am putting on my videos are actually the laws. So me interpreting the laws and the laws that is applicable to my cases. Okay, so all these things is happening leading up to everything that I've been going through. Okay, so it's a lockout situation. So if you don't know what impeding rescue is, this is like when, even with the judges making unlawful judgments and refuses to intervene on my behalf, and has made a decision in favour of the defendant, which in this case the defendant is the Crown. And so I'm actually the plaintiff, but in between me sending my court cases to the judges, people are sabotaging in between and blocking and damaging evidence in between. It's a life and death situation for me, because it's my liberty that's at stake, and it is a life and death situation because I have not been able to go forward. However, I do feel God in my situation, even now. It's a miracle that I'm even doing what I'm doing. But I have felt in my heart today to go over. I put a timeline for all the judges involving in my case. So just hold on a moment. So we're dealing with a very gross malfunction of the justice system. I'm trying not to keep this too long. Okay, so it's a criminal case. Can this situation be proven with the twinning and the switching? Yes, it can. Okay, but this is the intimacy issue here. So there's surveillance. That it doesn't matter how private I am, and it's a miracle that I'm even alive today to even talk about what I've gone through. But anyway, I believe God's allowed me to go through this to show me all what I'm showing everyone now. It's definitely, we're dealing with the middleman system, a lockout and blocked. The danger about it is in the younger years or the early years of everything I've gone through, I didn't realize that perpetrators were actually spying on me with the motive and intent to take me down. And then there's AVL. So basically they've broken every single law and legislation on one human being. Okay, so these here are the names of the women in my cases, or the secret societies. But these women, they represent their culture or their country. But keeping in mind, these women are on the wrong side of the fence. They're being used by agents. And that to animate me, okay? I did feel in my heart today, I'll just go in there and see if I can get it. So hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay, for those that don't know, the danger, God wanted, I know that God, I didn't even know what animate or inanimate was, okay, until I started researching the laws and putting my cases together. But I can confirm while I was working for my employer, people were secretly animate or inanimate me while I was working for my employer. So unfortunately, because the breaches started at my job, my employer, that's where it starts, is that environment where I was working, where there was cameras and just the whole environment where the conspiracy first started and all the privacy breaches. So while I was working for my employer, just as stated in my statement of claims with the PSA and everything, I had names of people at that time. They were sharing information back and forth to people in the church and coming over the pulpit. So that's a breach. I knew that what was happening. I knew that while I was working for the Ministry of Justice, people within my environment had made connection with people in my private life. So that is what you call, and then I knew that people were following me and everything, but they had actually studied me under the camera, okay, while I was working for my employer. But I've covered that in a lot of my video clips of the incident in regards to leading up to me being pushed out. I've put real life video clips or evidence because I've been frustrated. I submit everything to the courts, and then the judges are making judgments that is not consistent with the evidence that was presented to them or said in court. To this day, the Crown has not had anything. They've got nothing on me. They think they do. I actually know what they think they have, but I know that it's not, like, if they were to charge me for whatever it is, I know that I can contest it. But they've damaged my reputation. This whole court case in the beginning, I didn't even know that that they'd actually that actually glued to me and then defamed me by using the misuse of devices secretly and pretending to be me. So other secret societies are pretending to be me, or other cultures are pretending to be me, but it's all part of a tactic. They've all just kind of taken turns to take me down. So according to the Crimes Act, it's actually a danger to life doing those kind of acts, and words can't describe the inhumane, the mental inhumane pain and suffering that comes from the loss, the abuse, mentally, psychologically, indirect and directly. I can confirm that whoever's behind the criminal alliance or what I'm going through have stolen money from my bank accounts, also have stolen taxpayers' money, or stolen my identity, and then stolen tax invasion is involved. And I feel in my heart that all needs to be undone. And I believe this is the reason why I've been singled out and going through such a difficult time. But today I'm going to go over I did a timeline, okay? This is a really important video clip, which I believe I need to do this publicly because this is totally unfair, okay? They've disrespected me. Okay, unfortunately, the government and everyone behind me, the things they have done to me, you just don't do to a human being. But they have, and I'm within my right to denounce everything that they've done and what they're doing. I know exactly, like victims do know who is the opponent or who are the abusers and who are doing the criminal sabotaging and the criminal stealing and all the rest of it. But I'm talking about they've used me like an app, okay? So they've taken my liberty and dignity. They've tried to control me. So I've done a timeline, okay, on all the judges involving my case going back to 2016. So there's a story in these judgments too that they've written. They're unlawful. All they've done is just basically repeat what I've written on the statement of claim or what I'm accusing them of, cybercrime and all the rest of it. But to read what the judges are writing, it's an insult, because I wrote on my statement of claim. I talked about my friend Angela, whom I had a reasonable belief is dead. And for judges to write something like that about something that is actually true is a mockery to her. I mean, she's a human being and she has a family. But these are the kind of cover-ups that I'm up against with the opponent. Okay. And I also know that they had the intention to do the same thing with me. So these here are the judges going back to 2016. The first judgment was made by this judge, and this was to do with the mental health compulsory treatment. They used their act on me without any evidence. Okay, and I have a reasonable belief it was all part of to defame my character, so nobody would believe me. Anybody would think I'm mentally retarded, and also as a cover-up of historical thieving by people in prominent positions at that point of time. So I thought I'll just start off going through that, but I did my timeline and I'm finishing it. And there is a total, I'll just go over, a total of 25 judges. It's actually 26 or 27, but I can confirm a total of 25 judges have cited my case. Okay, so at the moment I'm putting a case appeal together to the Court of Appeal. I don't know how they make their decisions, whether it becomes a government. Like when I noticed the government was inciting about me on their video clips, I mean, I was horrified because that is a no-no. I mean, obviously it's a new age system, but that is a no-no in any generation. It's a privacy breach. That's totally unfair, and that is what you call a conspiracy. Okay, so I thought today I will show the video, the judgment that was made by the judge for because those people who used the Mental Health Act on me has actually used it to defame my character or defame me as a person, so everybody won't believe me. Okay, so this is a criminal case to use the Mental Health Compulsory Assessment and Treatment Act on somebody. If you don't know that, it means you're mentally impaired, or that's the evidence, that the fraudulent evidence those doctors were creating about me, and so I was contesting that in courts. But today I just thought I got over that judgment because I don't think I've shown it, and just for the sake of those watching my cases, and if I don't make it, then I know that a criminal case is now is sufficient to prosecute. I feel that I need to continue with this. I want it to be transferred to the criminal jurisdiction to be dealt with properly. But they used the Mental Health Act on me without my consent and locked me up for 5 days. Okay, but it was all part of the conspiracy of being set up while I was working with the Ministry of Justice at Waitakere District Court, and they everything about what the ministry did to me was all prearranged. Okay, so they used the actor. I'm just trying to get my mind around everything. So they locked me up in hospital, and the experience on its own was horrific for myself because nobody believed me. It's all just, sweet talk behind my back, and people, talking amongst themselves and making decisions about me. But it was all part of a conspiracy to take my liberty away, to ruin my reputation, and so forth. So this here is the judgment made by the judge. There was a hearing. The hearing was made at the hospital, and I was horrified because they'd put me in the hospital where people commit murder, like really serious. That's for really serious people are locked up in there. So that traumatized me, and they locked me up for 5 days. They did transfer me to another hospital, but I was really upset with what they'd done to me because I knew there was nothing wrong with me, but what could I do? So they used that act on me, and I knew also, because I worked in jury trials deposition, to use the act on somebody without any sufficient evidence, which they didn't have on me at that time. But everything was just a cover up for the cybercrime I was subject to at work, because they bullied me out of my job. They pushed me out. Everything was a setup. And also a cover up for the thievery of my bank accounts and what everyone was using me for secretly. So a judgment was made at the hearing on the 9th of February 2016. They actually locked me up for 5 days, so I couldn't get out until this hearing took place. And this hearing, about 5 members of my family came. I mean, I was horrified, but I tried my best just to maintain, just staying calm during it and just going through it. But I knew legally that what they'd done to me was so serious. So this year I thought I'll just go. You guys can just stop the video clip and read it for yourself. But this is really, really damaging. But if you read what this judge had written, I had a mental health specialist lawyer who came, and she was horrified. She was absolutely horrified that they'd used the act on me with no evidence. She said to me, do you know that they could get sued for what they've done to you? And I said, no, that's what I'm going to do. And that is what I've been going through. Okay, so I did take the doctors who used the act on me. But they, like, if you can read this judgment, but this judgment is really damaging. And for those that don't know, so all this is all purpose why people have been mocking me and psychologically and directly sabotaging and mocking me, because they think they're doing the judges a favor by, they're trying to help stop the judges from getting sued or into trouble. But the public scrutiny is horrific. It's dangerous. It's life-threatening. But this is the judgment made by I.A. McHardy. And so I've contested that in the judge. I'll just go back here. So this here are all the interesting thing about my case is I can actually prove judiciary corruption. Okay. Because I did the job myself, I do know what is meant to be, what I have expected them to know and do, but they've done completely the opposite. I have found the courts have deliberately conspired secretly, and they know it's me, and they have not made anything about. When I talk to them, they haven't made anything easy for me. I've met the odd good registrar in there who have done the right decision, just abiding, trying to cover, them still doing the right thing, but other people are making the decision is a reason why, everything being sabotaged. But I can actually prove in my court case judiciary corruption. It's a secret world of whoever's doing these projects on humans is so wrong. These are all the different agencies different lawyers for the Crown in my cases. So this here is the column for all the judges. So I have felt in my heart that I've needed to do this just for intervention in case I don't make it, because it's quite a stressful situation I'm going through. But I can actually prove judiciary corruption, the way my cases were managed, the time frame, how they've dragged everything out, and everything that they've said on the judgment is illegal. So this here, I'll just go over with you what my timeline is. So this here is actually my timeline. This comes from 2016, and then they went through the process with the doctors. So these here are the registrars and counsel. There was no counsel for anyone for for Judge McHardy, but I had a counsel, Jan Leeming. She was my counsel. So I had everything in documentations for my cases, which should have been sufficient enough for the judges to make an order in my favour, but that has not been the case. And I found people have secretly stolen my information or my documents, or they've retyped. All right, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I have found that in between from my court cases and that people have retyped my documents. And I just know my work. Sorry. Excuse me. The other thing that I have found in the moment is that I don't know if you've been watching me. I take my laptop with me everywhere because it doesn't matter what home I live in or what apartment I live in. I know that people do come into my personal space when I'm not there. and I just know. But I have found that people have planted documents that doesn't belong, or that they've retyped evidence and then they've planted the retyped evidence onto my laptop. So it's me actually realizing, gosh, all these technologies and the disadvantages and the advantages in it, but the disadvantages with what I've gone through trying to fight for my liberty, people have secretly stolen off me, and I can't do anything about what they're doing. This is where the police in the old system the police is actually able to investigate to find out who's doing the hacking and who's actually, unlawfully doing unlawful acts. But in my case, the police have done nothing. Nobody has intervened. They've made me feel they have made me feel like a stray, like someone who has nothing worked, and I have no rights or anything, no bill of rights. And other people, they've just taken advantage of stealing and conspiring to bully me secretly. The public scrutiny, it's words can't even describe what they've done to me. It's inhumane. So I am horrified and very disappointed that I've worked all these years working for the government, and I know how serious what I've gone through, but words can't even describe the inhumane. It is crimes against humanity, and it is genocide, and is brutal. But in my case, so I'm just going to go over it. This here was Judge Chalice. In this case, I won against the Ministry of Health, with the doctors that wrote the report, and on that report they put rape. So I was horrified when I read all that information. It also told me that people had dug up my past. As you know, that's exactly what they have done. They dug up my past to use against me. They basically dissected my soul, my life. Okay, that is what they've done. And it's the whites, and I have found that the white extremists or the white supremacists behind what I'm going through, it's a game to them, and they've actually criminally groomed other cultures or other people against me. This is where the substitutes and the people in my space acting out what they're doing. Okay, so this is like the New Age slave system. So that Ministry of Health, I won that case, and the judge actually cancelled their it's on Judge Chalice's judgment. I actually won. Another hearing was set out for them to pay me out, but because of the appeal that was on hold, and then the appeal just continued on going. The court registrars, all the in-between people were stealing and sabotaging my information. So I'm contesting that because it is a criminal case. So it went through Judge Gordon. Then it went. I took it through to the Court of Appeal. Okay. One thing I must mention, I'd put in appeals, but none of the judges read the appeal, okay? Now, this one here with Judge Hinton, one of the judges, which was I know, like, if you listen to the video clips of the actual court hearing, because every court hearing is recorded. Okay, so I know that I won all of them, but one judge made a decision, and she hadn't even had the file in front of her, and I can come up with evidence to prove that I think, I'm not sure which judge, it might have been Judge Sharp or Judge Hinton, where they didn't even have my file in front of her. I mean, that clearly shows the prejudice and the incompetencies of the court registrar. Okay, They changed everything. The courts are supposed to, get those files transferred, but they've made me do everything myself. And then when I do make requests, they don't act on it. They don't act on it straight away. But I did try in the early stages of my court case, get my file transferred to the criminal jurisdiction because that's where it belongs. But that it never happened. Okay, even though there is sufficient evidence that I put in affidavits to make that request. So I can confirm that the judges have not, even the appeals that I made against the judgments, they were not even read or considered, and there wasn't even mentioned. The appeals weren't even mentioned, but the appeals are really important because I've actually described, the consistency of everything that I've done, where the courts have not followed through any of my requests, or I've had the belief that they've sabotaged it or just made things difficult. So that's what you call judiciary corruption, and I'm challenging all this because it's to do with my personal property. Okay, so it is a very serious criminal case, and I am the victim of crimes, and but it is what you call a conspiracy. So these are all the judges that have dealt with my cases. And just in my one cases, this here are the defendant, and this here, as you can see, also the court deputy registrars who were the case officers. They keep changing case officers. Like different registrars keep viewed my file. That's what the evidence shows. And the other appalling thing that I found is that some of the judgments they've charged me to pay the defendant. It's just totally unfair, but that is what they've done. Okay, so this here is the actual timeline. I have to say my case is the most appalling case ever. It may seem like, I'm okay, but the hell, the loss, the isolation, the interference in all my relationships, it's been frustrating, and to be used globally and being personally attacked by people globally. And the inciting is it's stopping. So thank you to all the judges, all the people watching over me. I know I'm supposed to be doing this to show everyone the new age system and the corruption, and hopefully to help everyone, to gather evidence for themselves. I have found that whoever's behind what I'm going through have, they dig up people's past because they want to use people's past against them. That is illegal on its own, obviously, and there's sufficient evidence that the government, that those nurses, they wrote about the rape. I never told anyone about it, and it was just a secret. I didn't tell anyone because I was just a child, but I was scared as hell. But the abuse that I've suffered intimately, personally, is inhumane. This case, with what everyone's done to me, it is the cause of why people commit suicide. I have felt that the opponents have wanted me to kill myself, or have tried to make me get to a point where I would do that. And I have struggled with depression, and words can't even describe the pain and suffering that I've gone through with what I have gone through. Just the reality of the conspiracy of what everyone has used me for. However, I am progressing and I'm doing positive steps to go forward. But I just thought I'd just share my testimony, hoping that everybody would read their circumstances correctly, like there's one thing to read. Sorry, just gonna try and refer to the post that I've got up. But there's sufficient evidence to actually prosecute the different countries and different states involved in the conspiracy, because it's a global game and it is crimes against humanity. And I have found people have just taken turns to take me down. Okay, it hasn't stopped, and that's why I've had no choice but to go public with what I've gone through. To save my own life and to save my those that who are who don't even know that they're actually in a dangerous environment themselves. I mean, I have found, even though things are getting better, I have found that the opponent is always trying to take me down. So legally, by law, that I'm contesting the judgments because it's legally by law, it's bad faith. Okay, so a lot of things I've only confirmed and realized the reality of why they even came about. But the Bible is also, like, I believe it was like true Christianity. I can understand now why those laws came about and why they're even there. Okay, is to actually stop what's happening to me to happen to people, where home invasion and the gluing and stealing somebody's identity, and or anything to do with money laundering. And that is what people have used me for. So legally, by law, that I believe the judgments were made because they're trading in influence, or they have refused to exercise their power to do orders in my favor, to check out whether what I'm saying is true and correct, and they haven't done that. So but basically, I have found this is my experience where I am being exiled, and the opponents, they all know I'm exiled. Like I said, it's a miracle that I'm still alive. It's a miracle that they haven't shot me yet or anything like that with a gun, because the isolation and being exiled is horrific. The public are actually all operating together to exile me and make things difficult for me. And that's just totally unfair. But I really believe if you have the gifts of discernment, that is what's actually saved my life, is my spiritual gifts. And God just showing me what is organized crime, according to the law, and spiritually speaking, what is a conspiracy. Okay, I better finish this up. So my case, after the fact, it's easy. I mean, it's easy to prosecute in a criminal jurisdiction. So I'm putting all my cases together, and I am going to appeal them. Okay, all of them, and so that's where I'm at the moment. But it can, like, if you've got cases like mine, it does belong in the criminal jurisdiction. It can be dealt with at any point of time in the criminal jurisdiction. Before I finish up, I just realized that I just needed to go over something too. I did press criminal charges against the Ministry of Health. Okay, so this is the reason. Let me see. I just felt it was relevant right here. Okay, I did. I did try and press criminal charges with the Ministry of Health. I think it was quite a lot of charges, but a judgment was made by Judge G.A. Ray, and in my case, the judges, the criminal judges, went before Judge Tamanu here, right here, the Chief Judge Tamanu, right here. So, so there is evidence of that. Let's see, when was that done? Yeah, on August 10th of October 2024. I think I was the first person who'd actually put in official charges against the Ministry of Health and City Med, but that because it's all one case, all the other body corporates are all liable for criminal charges because of judiciary corruption also. But this is how serious my case is, and I can prove judiciary corruption by the courts, by the deputy registrar, and it's all in documentations, okay? But this there's sufficient evidence to prove that I did press criminal charges against the Ministry of Health and against City Med. That's already in court, sealed. So I'm at the moment I'm just thinking where to go with my case, but I feel I need to make submission to the higher court to hopefully have all the cases dealt with together as one. The other thing I felt so wrong was that at the judiciary review, and I must repeat this because in case anything happens to me. I don't believe I'm going to die anytime soon because I know God's not finished with me yet. But I know I'm supposed to do this, okay? I just got over... Okay, oh yeah, at the judiciary review, which is in 2023, I put in a judiciary review with the High Court, and the court deputy registrar at that time was Sharek Ali, and I did ask the courts to put all my cases together before I judged. I didn't want them to be split up, but the court split up my files, okay? This was so unfair on myself, but the Crown has had a defendants who've had no evidence, okay? To this day, I have not seen any evidence to support the Crown's application to win a case other than them referring, they're using other people's judges' judgments as evidence of authority, and that's it. No, nothing to support my allegations that they have allegedly perverted the course of justice or impede rescue. Nothing to support that they haven't done that. So that is the other judiciary corruption. So they've split up my file, giving other barristers, opportunity to make money because the Crown is paying them money, but that is not what the court system is for. Okay, so that's what I've been up against. Okay, so I'm dealing with corruption, and so obviously I'm just updating everyone as far as this new age court system. Okay, so all the signs of organised crime, they're in my space making threats to burn down wherever I'm staying, and they come out with a fire engine. It's immediate, meaning they've embedded themselves. Okay, I'll just go over. Okay, so all these are the signs to look out for. They're just taking turns. I don't know who's behind it, whether definitely gangs. It's the ISIS, from what I can see, doing the organised crimes, definitely gangs. And they're actually acting out and making threats. They're going to kill somebody. They come out in their trucks. But, you know, the things that people are doing, you just feel like something's not right. So always be alert of that, because their threats, they will follow them through. Okay, like I know in the past, in the early years, they've made threats to hurt people, and they have hurt people. But that's what you call organized crime. And it's also, I find some of the organized crime is emotional blackmail, where they've threatened to hurt immediate members of my family. So that's what you call blackmail. These, in the old court system, used to be able to ring the cops and they would come and investigate, but the cops, the police, has not done anything. And I believe the people that are monitoring and surveillancing me are for the actual opponent. They have not been in my favour. However, I do feel God is in my situation, and God is with me, because it's getting better slowly. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. And I'll keep you all up to date with my court cases, because I feel this is really important.